Hello everyone and welcome back to Scorpio Tech. In this video I'm going to be unboxing and giving my first impressions on the upcoming keyboard from NuPhy, and that is the Kick75. This new keyboard features a retro gaming inspired design, low and high profile compatibility, as well as tri-mode connectivity and a bunch more that I'll cover in this video. But its default form, if you can even call it that, is its low profile variant, which I think looks and feels fantastic. And for those of you that have seen my recent videos, you'll know that I fell in love with the NuPhy Halo 65HE keyboard, and that has been my daily driver for the past 3 months now. So it's safe to say that my hopes were pretty high coming into this one, knowing what they are capable of producing. First of all, the packaging is very simple, but I think it's effective, and I really do like the design on the side here with this 8-bit Odyssey artwork. It's a super cool and fun idea, which thankfully carries through to the product's design as well. Inside the box, you are of course getting the keyboard itself, a USB Type-C to USB Type-A data cable, a 2.4 GHz wireless receiver, as well as various extras that you will see shortly. And I've got to say, I was really excited to test this one out. I love the idea of the design, but I have to say I was initially quite skeptical about the low profile design, as I haven't used one before. But with one of Kick75's key features being the ability to swap between low and high switch profiles, it does give you the option to change it based on your preferences. Speaking of, I will show you what you get inside the high profile kit a little bit later on in this video. Also included in the packaging, you get some retro gaming inspired stickers, as well as a handy quick guide and a Q&A booklet. The USB Type-C to Type-A data cable also fits the retro theme, which I honestly really like, so if you do want to use the board wired, then you can maintain that retro vibe. Maintaining that same colour scheme, you have a 2-in-1 keycap and switch puller, a 2.4 GHz wireless dongle, and some extra Windows-based keycaps. And last but definitely not least is the Kick75 keyboard itself. And straight out of the packaging, I thought it looked fantastic. The low profile is sleek, I love the colour scheme, and especially like the fancy volume knob, which probably doubles as some kind of fidget toy. The quirky design scheme even makes it onto the back of the keyboard with this super cool retro gaming scene, with vibrant rubber grips and this sort of light matte grey that seemed to be on all of the consoles from the PS1 all the way back to the Commodore 64, and even beyond that. In terms of design, I really can't fault it. It has so much character and really embodies a lot of the retro themes with the transparent elements, colour choices, even down to things like the indentations on the underside of the keyboard. With everything now unboxed, let's take a closer look around the keyboard and talk about all of its features and also which features might be missing. As with a lot of newer keyboards, the Kick75 also features tri-mode connectivity in the form of USB Type-C wired, Bluetooth and ultra-fast 1000Hz 2.4 GHz wireless, which makes this board a decent choice for competitive gaming. However, this keyboard does not feature Hall effect switches, nor does it seem that NuPhy has any plans to release one in the near future, which will definitely be a disappointment for some people, since HE keyboards are almost the new standard in many ways. And I have to say that that was also a surprise to me, since the last NuPhy keyboard that I tried was Hall effect and it was brilliant. On the back of the board, you do have a single level of adjustable feet to change your preferred typing angle, although I personally find it really comfortable to use both casually and when gaming as it is. And I have no idea how accurate it is, but they do claim that it is the world's first dual profile keyboard that works with both high and low profile switches. Although to change this you do need the high profile kit and the ability to do quite a bit of tinkering to change it. As for pricing, which has literally just been announced as of editing this part of the video, the NuPhy Kick75 low profile board with QMK and VIA firmware comes in at $109 and the high profile variant is at $119. If you'd like to purchase a swappable kit, that's going to cost you $19, which actually seems fairly reasonable, although it looks like they're discounted for the launch. As for switches, you have the option to go with red, brown, silver and blush, which will of course come in the nano size for the low profile board and the max size for high profile. A quite important detail I noticed on the website is that the NuPhy IO software version seems to have a 2500 mAh battery, whereas the QMK VIA version has a 4000 mAh battery, which probably explains the price jump between those two variants. But with that said, the 2500 mAh version still gives you over 24 days of battery life when used 12 hours per day without any RGB, which is great, but just over 5 days with the RGB turned on, so it's worth keeping that in mind if you intend to use it wirelessly. The Kick75 has, yes you guessed it, a 75% ANSI layout with a nice compact build. It does also allow for 3 and 5 pin MX style hot swapping, as well as featuring over 40 different RGB effects. Taking a look around the keyboard, we can see how slim it is with the low profile design. On the back of the keyboard we've got two switches, one of those is for changing between Windows and Mac, and the other is for changing between off, wired and wireless modes. And on the other side we've got a USB Type-C port for wired usage and charging, as well as a place to store the wireless dongle. One of the coolest and somewhat hidden features of this board is that they are open sourcing various parts of the Kick's case. This will allow you to download the design files and 3D print your own accessories. This is a super cool idea to allow people to get creative, but sadly I do not have a 3D printer available to try this out. As for other features, we do have this funky volume knob which can be customized with software to perform other tasks such as scrubbing up and down the timeline in Premiere Pro like I'm doing right now. Moving on, let's take a look at the keycaps, switches and do a good old sound test. As you would expect, the keycaps are very thin on the low profile version, but they do feel very well made, and because they're double shot they should last a very long time. As for the switches themselves, this board has the Gateron X NuPhy linear brown nanos which have a quite high 50-gram force, but if you did want something lighter they do offer the red nanos at 45, blush nanos at 42 and silver nanos at 37. The switches feel really consistent across the board, and I was honestly surprised with how nice it felt to type with them considering their size. And I personally think it's one of the better sounding keyboards that I've ever used, which is a real surprise considering its low profile, but take a listen for yourselves. As I said before, I really do like the sound of this keyboard, and I had no idea low profile boards could sound this good, and it would probably make it into my personal top 5 sounding keyboards. It's got that really nice thick and thocky kind of sound. I love it. As mentioned previously, this board features RGB, and it does it very well. With over 40 different effects to customize via keyboard shortcuts or software, you have a lot of control over your keyboard's aesthetic. Although with the battery life reduction and the fact that the keyboard looks stunning without the RGB, I would imagine a lot of people would opt not to use it. But thanks to the transparent top case paired with vibrant and bright lighting, the Kick75 looks awesome in the dark with the RGB effects turned on. You can adjust things like the brightness, effect speed and effect color for both the main lights and also for the LED indicator on the right side of the keyboard. Speaking of, this indicator light has various purposes. Not only does it light up to indicate that caps lock is on, but you can also check your battery level and the connection mode as well. The connection methods are really easy to understand and do. Simply adjust the rear switches to either Windows or Mac and wired or wireless, then use FN and 1, 2 or 3 for Bluetooth and FN and 4 for 2.4 GHz wireless, assuming you've already plugged in the dongle. As for software, that depends on the version that you opt for. I have the VIA version, so I'll show you how that looks, but I will leave links for both variants and how to use them down in the description. Once you've imported the Kick75's JSON file into the VIA website, you will be able to test, configure and customize various aspects of your keyboard. And once you finish playing the piano, you can jump in and remap pretty much anything you can think of in up to 7 different keyboard layers. You can also make your own macros here, adjust the lighting and choose specific effects, as well as saving and loading profiles. The software does take a little bit of getting used to, but is becoming somewhat of a standard for newer keyboards, although I have to say I did prefer NuPhy's own software on the last of their keyboards that I tried. This is the high profile kit that you can use to change your low profile board, well, into a high profile one. Everything that you need to swap the casing and internals over is inside this case, which is great, but you will have to supply your own standard switches and keycaps. This is going to be ideal for those looking to mod this keyboard or the people that generally just enjoy the tinkering aspect of the mechanical keyboard hobby. I looked through the instruction manual that does a good job at explaining the process, although I have to say it does look a lot more complicated than you would expect it to be, but since this is apparently the first keyboard to have this feature, it's no surprise that there will be some things that need streamlining in the future. But you can easily see the difference in thickness between the transparent casings. It would very much feel like a different keyboard in high profile. But if you don't fancy modding it, you can always just buy the high profile version if that's your preference, but for under $20 I think this kit is a great idea. As for extras, you can pick up this wrist rest that also features high and low profile swappability. I think I've just invented a word there. This is a really nice feeling wrist rest that fits seamlessly with the Kick75. It has the same grey aesthetic and also a nice yellow tag to match the spacebar. You can then remove the plastic cover which is held on via magnets to get the low profile version, but to be honest even the high profile version worked with the low profile Kick75 keyboard, but it's nice to have that option anyway. Overall I really do like the Kick75 keyboard. From the design to the features and sound, it ticks a lot of boxes for me. When it first arrived I was really unsure about a low profile keyboard, but I'm surprised how much I like it, and if that's not your thing then you always have the high profile option available too. The real unique selling point for the Kick75 is the amount of choice you have to make it your own. You can decide on your software version, choose between high and low profile, change between the two, hot swap, and even 3D print your own keyboard accessories to fit on the keyboard, which is super cool by the way. I can definitely see the keyboard modders loving this one, but honestly I'm really happy with it even straight out of the box. So I think that pretty much wraps up this video. I will leave all relevant product links in the description if you want to check them out. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you all in the next video. Goodbye.